Cool. So, back at it again. Here with Ruben. Full name?
Ruben Martinez Jr.
Okay.
I don't think legally it's at the end, but for whatever reason, I made it a thing. It's like I sign everything Ruben Martinez Jr., but I'm pretty sure it doesn't belong there.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. It's like when somebody chooses a nickname for themselves, but it's like not their government name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to respect that. So we're here talking with Ruben today. Ruben is a weightlifter,
Weightlifter, yeah.
former CrossFitter.
Yeah.
Do you identify as a CrossFitter or a weightlifter?
Weightlifter currently.
Okay.
But I still fuck with CrossFit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good. Whether I'm a weightlifter or CrossFit depends on the circle I'm in.
Yeah.
If I'm at a CrossFit event, like a CrossFit competition, I'm like, well, I'm just a weightlifter. And if I'm at a weightlifting competition, I'm like, oh, I'm a CrossFitter.
I don't, in weightlifter circles, I don't get the hate for CrossFit. I'm like, it's not that bad. Like,
Yeah. I mean, man, that's an onion to unpeel. I was speaking recently with an international level weightlifting coach. I won't name names. That said they refused to coach CrossFitters.
why? Did you say why? Or she?
She said that they couldn't recover well. They couldn't spend enough time on the barbell to be good enough at weightlifting. They said good weightlifters spend 3 to 7 hours a day with the barbell. CrossFitters, with all the other training that they do, don't have time to spend that kind of time on the bar. And with running and other things, there just wasn't enough recovery time. So
3 to 7 hours?
with the bar.
I don't think I've ever weightlifted for 3 hours.
I mean,
Like
if I'm
strictly
dicking
weightlifting.
around.
Yeah, well, I work out really fast.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, I was like,
7 hours though?
I mean, I'm
What are
assuming
you
it'd be
doing?
2 sessions. But,
Okay.
I mean, I get it. If you have a training philosophy, like, totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you're entitled to that training philosophy. And
Sorry.
Marcella, this particular coach has been incredibly successful.
Okay.
But I think there are, like, Max Ada
Mm-hmm.
has coached Chucky Welsh, Alyssa Ritchie to American records.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were CrossFitting at the same time or if, he was like, you have to pull the trigger. But I think that there's a reality for it.
Yeah. My whole shtick for weightlifting was I can beat people with a full-time job working out like 2 hours tops a day and taking 2 rest days. Like that's what I always wanted to do. Like I don't need to do all this, like make it a whole life thing to beat you. I think I can beat you without all that.
Yeah. I've always found it really... Do you think it's possible to do both?
What do you mean?
To compete in CrossFit and compete in weightlifting at an elite level?
I don't...
Asking for a friend.
I can only think from the male side. I think it would be easier from the female side. But I don't really know numbers for females. I think from the male side, in my weight class, I don't think it could be done.
What?
To be super competitive, to win at both.
Uh,
Like Matt Frazier,
Yeah.
like what is he hitting? He would hit like a 37, maybe like a 40-70. That's pretty competitive. But I think he would be an 89, so not as competitive there.
yeah.
He might win like an AO series, but not like a finals or a nationals.
Yeah. For whatever reason, the girls have been able to do both more so than the boys.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like that the girls' numbers aren't as competitive as the boys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have, statistically speaking, girls can handle training volume a little better.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And can then peak later in life, right? So you could have a 30 to 35-year-old female training tons and tons of hours a day and being and do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Supposedly. I mean, I feel like trash.
Yeah.
But supposedly that's why it is. But you also I see a lot of these games guys just doing like workout after workout after workout after workout.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, thank you.
Right. So you're a former competitive CrossFitter.
Yeah. I went to regionals in 2015 individually.
Yeah.
That was the first year of the like I guess super regional. Like that's what people
Yeah.
call it. That regionals aren't even a thing. Rest in peace. I those were fun. Uh, all right. I went in 2015 and then I went on a team in 2017. Um, so I failed 16 and 17 to make it individually. I was top 60 in the South both years. I was competitive, but like it was always like handstand push-ups or deadlifts that would kill me.
Mm.
Um, I just was not good at those two movements. And I think one year they're in the same workout and it just like crushed me. It was a repeat. It was 2016. The
Yeah.
50s,
50,
was it
50, 50,
50s
50, 50, yeah.
or 55?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one killed
55
me.
cal row, 55 blah, 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 blah.
It killed me both years. I definitely improved the second time, like way better, but not enough.
Yeah. I mean, people were getting a round and a half.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. I think I made it like pretty deep into the deadlifts in the second round, which was the first movement. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Yeah. Uh, canceling regionals kind of rocked my world.
okay. Yeah. I don't like online format.
A lot of people don't. Well, there's a lot of. I'm not going to say cheating, but for example, right?
Yeah.
I'll do a workout. Like the workout comes out,
Mm-hmm.
you watch the demo, you go to your home gym, you do the workout as it was demoed, you tell your friends what you got, and I have some friends around the country, internationally, Canada, whatever, and then they're like, "Oh, well that's not the best way to do the XYZ." And you realize that there's some secret way to do this movement that you've never seen or heard before that everybody else is doing that you didn't know about, and that they're all getting 45, 50 extra reps.
Yeah. I like the reason I don't like it is because like when I first went to regionals individually, like squeaked by. I got 20. It was top 20. Like that was the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think before that it was top
50.
40, 50, top 50. And it was like combined, like
Mm-hmm.
the regions combined. And I barely squeaked in, and it was like 15.5. Do you remember that one? The row thruster one?
Ah,
Just devastating of
yeah,
a workout.
yeah.
I did it one time and I was like, this is not going to be enough. And I had to redo it. And it's like that assault bike interval we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about. I was just dead
Mm-hmm.
for like 2 hours. But anyway, like when I made it to regionals, like all these dudes that were putting up like superb scores were like not the same athletes that were there at regionals. I feel like there should be something said for people that show up and perform.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like that's where I thrive. So this the whole online thing of like repeating, watching other people's videos, doing strategies, like you only get one shot at regionals or the games or whatever. Like that's the type of format that I would prefer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so much to it too, and man, I have a question in terms of the way that boys are versus the way that girls are. Like in CrossFit, I feel like it's so sneaky. Like no one wants to post their videos.
Oh,
No
I
one wants to
hate
post
that.
their workouts. Like no one, like if you hit it, you'll like if you, on Instagram, somebody's gonna write like PR snatch, but they're not gonna say what the weight on the bar is.
That pisses me off so bad. Because it doesn't matter like what you hit in training. Like you still got to show up and like hit it. So like whether they know or not, it doesn't matter. Like you got to do it
Yeah.
when it comes time.
Versus like in weightlifting, the plates are different colors, so you know.
Yeah.
And B, like I feel like people are like, hey, hit this 170 in training, like looked awesome, go me. And you still have that competitive nature, but it doesn't seem so sneaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boys do that too?
They definitely all my years of competing in CrossFit, they would post like Monday, like when the scores were supposed to come in, like an hour before. You'd be like, "Oh, dude, I'm doing great on this workout. Like I've got 20th," and then you like look an hour later and you're 180. It's like
Why do you think that is? What do you think about CrossFit creates that culture?
I honestly don't understand it
I
because
don't
it
either.
doesn't change anything. What you got the score you got, and if people beat you, they beat you. If they didn't, they didn't. Like hiding the score doesn't change anything.
I think so. Vic and I talk about it a lot, and I think that like in CrossFit, especially like the nature of the online qualifiers and whatever, because the workout is constantly evolving. Like every week is a different workout. Every weekend is right. like you need that person to do poorly for you to succeed. Like the target's always moving,
Yeah.
and you're kind of hoping that that person misses the target. Versus in weightlifting, there's 2 lifts. They're always the same lift. You know, somebody having a great training day or a poor training day doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your success.
Yeah.
But CrossFit, even like in basketball, it's always basketball, right?
Yeah.
And somebody posting a dunk on Instagram doesn't mean that you don't make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
But in CrossFit, since it's literally a new workout every single time, you're kind of hoping that that person can't figure it out or can't, like, you're kind of hoping poorly on that person.
Yeah. I could see that.
I hate it.
I'm definitely not a fan as much of CrossFit due to that online thing now.
And then other girls are like, I love the community and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut up. If you're an elite athlete, there is not, like, rarely. Some of my closest friends who would, I would take a bullet for, are hesitant to tell me their qualifier scores.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing.
Yeah, they're not going to say. And they're not in, well, especially now because regionals is gone.
Yeah.
It's sanctionals. And everybody worldwide's doing the same qualifier, right? So even though my friends live in Arizona, their scores are competing against mine.
Yeah.
Which before
it wouldn't matter, like the regions or whatever.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I had like friends from other regions. They were more willing to like tell me their score, but like people in region, you're like, oh, that was a tough workout, bro. Like, you don't tell them your score or anything.
Yeah, that's crazy. I hate it. But so I obviously wanted to go to regionals. It was like my life's work. And then they canceled it.
Yeah.
And I had gotten 90th in the region. So, obviously my goal was to qualify for regionals. And everybody was like, oh, you're so far away. You're so far away. And then they canceled it. And then that spring open, I got 7th. I in Texas, I was 7th. So I would have gone.
Yeah.
But it didn't exist anymore.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. That's why I haven't had a ton of sympathy for the Olympics getting moved.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
just keep going.
Yeah. I'm like,
are the qualifications different?
So the IWF submitted qualification to IOC. IOC approved it, I think Friday. I read it. I didn't actually quite understand what made it different. They said they're extending IWF Olympic qualification till 2021 or April 2021. So, but I don't necessarily know how that affects points. They didn't say like if you have your spot, it's promised to you. So in theory, if somebody like Jenny Arthur or I don't know on the guy's side, just missed out because they didn't have enough Roby points, they could go do a sweep and get a ton of Roby points between now and April 2021.
It's interesting.
It's my understanding of the new rules.
If I got knocked out of position, I would be pissed.
Yes. Yes.
That's devastating.
Especially if I felt like it was not due to a failure on my part. Yeah. If I felt like it was due to a rule loophole. Like if there's a rule loophole, like it's absolutely totally cool for an athlete to kind of capitalize on that. Like it's smart. But if I felt like I missed out because of a rule loophole, I would feel highly motivated to maybe close that hole.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So, yeah, they canceled regionals. It rocked my world. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to do sanctionals. And now everything's canceled because of coronavirus. Have you competed in any sanctionals?
I haven't done any sanctionals.
Are you going to try?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty out of shape. Like CrossFit shape.
Touche.
I could definitely have the skills, like gymnastic skills and like obviously weightlifting. But my conditioning never was like that great. Like I was never an engine guy. I was always like definitely like a strength guy. I would make up some points there, or just like time, and then gymnastics, like the being able to like move through them.
Yeah, that's fair. With team stuff, you don't really have to be conditioned.
I'd be down for some team stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, except the worm. Have you ever done like a worm workout?
No.
It's terrible.
My friend Randy has one in Fort Worth. We're gonna go over there and try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our regionals was like the worm Olympics when I went on a team. It was like worm thrusters, worm burpees, worm squats, like worm push press.
Did
Yeah.
you practice on one ahead of time?
Yeah, we had got like we had a lot of firefighters at our CrossFit
Mhm.
gym, and we got like one of their hoses and filled it with sand and like flopped it back over and taped it up. So that was our worm. Yeah, not fun. And that was the 6-man team that year. So I think the 4-man team's a better bet.
Yeah.
It's so easy to have a weak link.
Correct. Especially when they had to all be from the same gym.
Mm-hmm.
To have 6 strong competitors from the same gym, it's impossible.
Well, 3 females. Like males are a dime a dozen. Like you could find some legit dudes.
Yeah.
Pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
But like 3 legit chicks in one gym in one like city, and it was like Corpus Christi. It's like a random ass place in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, we had Jen Jones or
Right.
Jen Assel now.
Yeah.
And then we had another regional competitor, former regional individual competitor come, and then we had one of the gym owner's wife, and she had been like training for a while. But even then, wasn't enough.
So you did individual and team.
Yeah, 15 was individual, 17 was team.
Which do you prefer?
Individual.
Yeah, because you do an individual sport now.
Yeah.
And your success is sort of up to you.
Yeah. I'm definitely a gamer, and not everybody's that. And, like, not everybody has the same mindset when it comes game day. Some people get spooked, and everybody has their, like, own thing. And I just didn't like not having control of that, especially at a competition.
Yeah.
But the year I went to regionals individually, my goal like was to go to regionals like since I started CrossFit.
Yeah.
And they always got gear, like sweet gear from Reebok.
Yeah.
That the year I went was the year they gave out jackets. I'm like, I live in South Texas. It's 100 degrees.
Was it
90% of the year.
It was like a pullover.
It's a yellow pullover. I think I have it back at home in Corpus.
Yeah.
So I was pissed.
Yeah. No sneakers or anything.
No, I think I got weightlifting shoes.
Oh, okay.
I wore them to death.
Yeah.
I don't use them anymore, but.
So I read the CrossFit Reebok contract because I'm that guy. And with all the stuff going on, I was super curious. So I read the contract. And Reebok's supposed to give every regionals athlete a bag. They never did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lame.
I'm sad. I still to this day like whether it's like MMA because the Reebok has like a UFC deal or like CrossFit. I want something with my name on it or like a number. Like that's so cool to me. I would wear it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Do you hate people that do you know like regional level athletes or like games athletes? Do they wear the gear all the time?
Yeah.
I'd be that guy.
Yeah.
I'd most definitely be that guy.
We're pretty publicly friends with Meredith Root and Alex Parker.
Okay, yeah.
They were demo team as well.
Yeah.
So they wear their demo team stuff too.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't think that's putting them on blast. Yeah, I have regionals level friends, sanctionals level friends. They wear their stuff, but yeah, Alex and Meredith wear their game stuff pretty frequently, I think.
I would.
But you get so much.
If you make it to the games, they give you a lot.
Yeah,
like cleats, like 2 pairs of shoes, lifters, knee sleeves, grips. Wow.
Yep. They have sunglasses.
Jeez.
Whole 9. Yeah, and so you get so much. So is it like you're wearing it because it's cool, or you're wearing it because you're like, well, now I don't have to buy gym clothes the next year? Maybe both.
I think it would be kind of like it'd be a snooty thing. Like, hey, I made the games. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like anytime I saw somebody at like a local competition rock up with their like regional shorts, I'd be like,
I would be that dude.
Yeah. Okay. We get it. I saw somebody competing at an individual sanctional recently with their regionals clothes on. They had like their regionals t-shirt.
Nice.
And I was like, That was a long time ago, buddy.
Just got to represent.
Fair enough.
It's one of the old ones.
He ended up winning that
Oh.
sanctional. Thor, this guy from Georgia, whatever.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you something else. I'll remember in a second. Oh yeah, were you guys trying to qualify for the games? Did you think you had a legit? Do you think you had a legitimate chance to qualify for the CrossFit Games as a team? Well, maybe as yourself either.
Okay. Yeah. So getting back to like what I was saying, like the in-person competition was way better. Like I showed up and I got 8th, and that year
8th?
I got 8th,
That's awesome.
and it was top 5. And like from then on, I was like, I can beat these people.
Yeah.
But on the team, we had redid all the events. It
Yeah.
was like 6 events from the previous year, which was 2016, and I think we would have went. Like had we been at regionals that year as a team, we would have went. So I think that year when we did go to regionals, it was a lackluster performance. I think we got like under 20th or something like that. But we all felt like we could have made the games, or should have made the games, top 10 at least.
I think you gotta feel like going into an event that you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you there for?
Exactly.
What are you there for? Why'd you show up? And
You got to be there to win.
yeah, I mean it's a competitor, right?
Yeah.
I always felt like some girls just showed up to satisfy their sponsors.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it. I'm like, why are you here?
CrossFit is torture. I wouldn't just like torture myself to just show up.
It sucks.
That's the thing about like CrossFit. Like, I never get nervous. Like I get nervous at like weightlifting meets, but I also know like this is not gonna hurt. Like, it's mostly gonna be fun. I'm gonna hit a lift or not. I might be disappointed, but
Right.
I'm not gonna be in pain.
Right.
Like I'm not.
That's true. Yeah, I mean the nerves of it are the worst part.
I definitely got way more nerves in CrossFit.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because you're like, I'm about to hurt myself. Like, especially like at a regional level or like the open, I hated it. Because you got to go hard.
Yeah. It's awful. The open, I think, is, a lot less and less people are participating because of the mental fatigue that it causes.
Yeah. It's a 5-week long stressful. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah. 2019 had 2 opens.
Mm-hmm.
Spring open, I got like 200 something in the world.
Mm-hmm.
290. So I have the expectation, especially because in the fall, everyone's counting your open performance for sanctional qualification. So I'm thinking, if I improve at all, I'm in. I can pick my event.
Yeah.
And I got melted. The events were different. Like in the spring open, it was a lot of skill, a lot of strength, right?
Yeah.
And then the fall open starts with 65-pound snatches and burpees.
95 was the guys?
Yep.
Oh, that's a burner.
I got melted. In no reality am I ever going to win that workout.
Yeah, those light snatch. That weight right there, I don't like that weight because it's not enough to like just straight muscle it. Like a 75-pound, I think 75, 55.
Yeah, Randy.
You can't just straight muscle a 95. So you got to kind of like
dip a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a terrible weight.
Yeah. And I got melted. So I went from like 290 in the spring open worldwide to 1,000 plus.
Jeez.
In the fall. And I shed more tears over the fall open than probably anything else in my life. And I was like, it just ravaged me emotionally.
Yeah.
Because you have standard. You're a competitor, right? You want to do good. You want to win. You want to be awesome. You want to prove yourself and all this. You've poured years and years and years into your training, and then to have it all just kind of melt in front of you.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's like bombing out.
I've done that.
Yeah.
That was rough.
At a national meet?
What was the one in Memphis? Was that 2018? Do you want me to tell you the whole story?
I'm trying to think. Memphis.
It was last year.
Graceland,
it was definitely last year, like about
nationals.
this time. Mm-hmm. You want to know the whole spill?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So at that point, I was with Zach Tellander, and I think I competed like maybe 8 to 6 weeks before that, and I hit like my first 300 total. And it was like a great meet, and we continued to peak.
Mm-hmm.
great shape. The only conflict, so at the time, my mother was like really sick with
Mhm.
cancer, and it was kind of like nearing the end. And so it happened to be the same weekend as Mother's Day.
Mm.
So, I wanted to, because this was going to be my first national meet for Team Juggernaut, or is that Team Juggernaut?
Yeah, I think Zach's part of Team
Okay.
Juggernaut.
Is it Team Juggernaut though, or is it like Juggernaut Training
Uh,
Systems?
JTS, Juggernaut Training Systems, but I think they compete as Team
Team
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
I don't know.
Okay, it was my first meet for them,
Yeah.
a national meet, and
Yeah.
they want you to get medals and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I was kind of feeling like I wanted to perform well and I wanted to go,
Yeah.
but it's the same. Like this might have been my mom's, and it did happen to be my mom's last Mother's Day. Like she
Yeah.
didn't make it, and so I was kind of torn in between. And so like that whole like 3 weeks, 2 weeks before, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I talked to one of my colleagues at work, and he kind of figured out the perfect situation for me. So what I was gonna go do is I was gonna drive down to Houston Thursday, and then Liz's sister is a flight attendant, so I could get buddy passes. I
Mhm.
could fly standby for like $100 or like $45, but 100 total. So I was gonna go to Houston, fly out to Memphis, compete, fly back in, drive down Sunday, get Mother's Day in with my mom. And like everything was gonna kind of work out. So I take the half day on Thursday. I start driving, and like the worst storm like hits.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
our flight got canceled, and we ended
Yes.
up having to drive from Dallas to Houston to fly out.
Yes. So you were there.
Yeah.
Roads were like flooding,
Yep.
super crazy, like raining hard. And if you're flying standby, so you get like the empty seats that nobody wants. Well, all these flights are getting canceled.
From
So these
Dallas.
people are like jumping me, and I was like, it's impossible that I'm gonna get a flight to Memphis. And so I'm freaking out. I'm like calling Liz, like I don't know what to do, and like I don't know what it was. I was like in this like manic like state, and I don't think I've ever been like that before, but I was kind of freaking out. And I think I had set my alarm for like 1 a.m. because I calculated it's going to take me like 8 hours to get there in time if I drove. Um, and so I called my mom, like, she was in Houston at the time at MD Anderson, and I was going to see her, but then it started raining and it was kind of not a good idea.
Mhm.
Um, and so I was like, "What do you want me to do, Mom?" She was like, she always wanted me to do she wanted me to decide. She was never going to tell me. And I wish that time she would have told me like, "Hey, don't go. Like
Mhm.
this is a bad idea." But, anyway, I took off, and I was in this manic state. I don't know what was going on in my head, but I was driving. It was still raining, like to the point where your windshields are like, you crank it up and you still can't see the road. Like that's how hard it was raining. And I was driving like 80 to like 90 miles per hour for no fucking reason. I was going to get there in time, and the roads are wet. And so I think I made it about 4 hours, and I was just passing through Marshall, Texas, from Houston, driving to Memphis. And throughout this whole time, I'm like driving, and I kind of like, you hit like a little puddle, and you kind of like shake a little bit, but I was correcting. And finally, one time, I fucking hit one, and I went, and I spun out in the middle of the road, hit this pole. It like shattered my back windshield, and there was like rain coming in my car, and I was like even more freaking out. And I like got out of the car. I'm like, holy shit, what happened? I had a flat, and I ended up just calling the police, and I got off to the side of the road, and that took like another 3 hours for them to like solve it because there was multiple wrecks. They ended up giving me a ticket for speeding and an expired registration. Funny thing, my mom like told me, she's like, you need to get your registration like
Yeah.
updated. And I'm just like a lazy bum about some things like that.
Yeah.
So it was like a 500 total like ticket. And so
Plus now your car's all messed up.
my car is totaled. It ended up being totaled.
What?
Rest in peace, my Toyota Corolla. I miss it so much. Me and Liz are always like looking at used Toyota Corollas. I'm like, babe, please let me get one. But yeah, I totaled my car. At that time I wasn't making like a full salary. I was still an intern.
Oh yeah.
So like I didn't have that much money, and I had to call my dad, and I was like, Dad, do not tell Mom. like what happened, because she was already worried about it. So he gave me some money to get a tire. Got the tire, made it to nationals with a broken windshield, still raining, into my car. So yeah, I made it. I was like severely underweight. I think I was like 3 kilos under because I hadn't eaten, super stressed out. And as far as the competition went, I had a great snatch day. I hit 26. My numbers at the time were like around 30,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to hit above 30. So I hit 26, 29, smoked them. And then I missed 32, like just barely. I like tried to duck walk it out. I was having a great day.
Mm.
And then clean and jerks come, and I like though that's where I like make up ground. I'm not a great snatcher compared to like others in my weight class, but and I never miss a jerk, like ever. Like jerk is my shit.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason that day I was smoking the cleans and I fucked up the jerk on the first one. And then I fucked it up again on the next one. And then like the last one, I was just like following myself. And then I ended up bombing out on that last. And like I just cried because it felt like a complete waste of time. Like I drove all this way for what? Like I missed Mother's Day, and it was like my mom's last Mother's Day to come fucking bomb out. But like the worst decision of my life.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. And I think every bomb out's like, it's like literally the most gut sinking.
That's what it felt like. As soon as I got done, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Bombed out.
This AO Finals 2019, I went 0 for 6.
You got posted on that meme page, didn't you?
I did. I knew it was coming too. And then they sent me a DM and they were like, if you need us to take it down, we can.
Oh.
And I was like,
I didn't know they were actually nice about it.
I'm going to be really honest. I don't know who it is, but I think they know me.
Okay.
I think I know. I think I know them. But they sent me a message and they were like, I think they felt bad and they're like, hey, I can take it down if you want. They didn't say who they actually were, but I have some suspicions. And I was like, no, you can leave it up. I earned it. But again, like I just went and I was crying. I mean, it wasn't anything of the sort, but
yeah,
you just feel like I wasted.
Well, you travel, you spend a lot of money to go there. You've been training for weeks, like grinding, torturing
at
yourself.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe months.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like a big waste of time.
Yeah.
Like there's no validation in it. And then you got to wait like another couple months to the next big one. And then like it's in the back of your mind, like, am I going to bomb out again?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like after that, I called my mom, and my mom being my mom, she's like, don't worry about it. Like this just happens.
Yeah.
She's always being supportive.
And then you drove back.
Yeah. I drove back.
In your hoopty.
Yeah. Damn. I kept it for a couple weeks with the back shield like gone.
Just as a reminder to yourself.
Yeah. You failure.
You fucking suck. Piece of shit. Yeah. Man. And then you finally had insurance look at it and they totaled it? Just because I guess maybe water damage too.
A lot of water damage. And the insurance didn't pay at all. Yeah, I'm still paying on that. I should have been paying on it for a while, but yeah, there's like $1,000 left that I need to pay off on it. So
next time you'll get Gap.
We're not going to talk about that.
But what a fucking lesson. What'd you learn?
You see, I don't know. Like, I already knew because, my mom had cancer for like 5 years. And my whole thing has been, because I was super into CrossFit, like 2015, like training twice a day, like a lot of time and energy. I missed a lot of birthday parties and a lot of time with family and friends training for CrossFit. And, I think after the 2016 season, I decided like I want to be around more, I wanted to be a balance. Balance has always been my thing since that point, And so I already knew that like that lesson had been learned. I work a full-time job and I work out 2 hours and I try to go as fast as possible. Like everybody know if you worked out around me, I work out really fast. Not according to Liz, but I work out pretty fast compared to other weightlifters, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they dilly-dally.
Yeah.
Eat snacks
I
mid-workout.
I think I go like under an EMOM. Like I'm hitting my lifts pretty fast, and I think hit 50 like 3 times, 70 3 times, then I go 90, 100, 10, 20, and then like for a snatch workout,
Yeah.
it's fast. Um, so I don't know. To this day I don't know what I've learned. I just regret it, honestly.
I don't know. It may not be there yet. Maybe, like in the future, if there's an event or whatever, I mean, I'm sure you'll be like, I mean, that sounds like a gnarly lesson. That's awful.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
wish that on anybody, but
No.
there's got to be something there.
Yeah. I think I got to hash it out a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, damn. My coach Mike, he always tells me win or learn.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't get there quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm incredibly salty about bombing out at finals. I'm just incredibly salty about it still.
I'm not necessarily like
Well,
salty about the
totally
bomb out
different,
itself.
totally different lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally,
I don't know.
totally different experience.
I think if anything, and I learned to probably like refocus between the lifts. Like this isn't like a life lesson, but like a weightlifting lesson. Because if I have a great snatch day, I always come out like super flat on the clean and jerks. I just kind of lose focus.
Touché.
So especially in my last meet, I made sure to like, celebrate a little bit and then like get more like I like to stay aggressive. So like get aggressive again for the clean and jerks.
Mm-hmm.
And it paid off. I went 6 for 6 in my last meet.
States?
State.
You did great.
Huge meet.
Yeah.
Huge meet. Yeah.
Did you win?
I didn't. I had like so like I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
And there was like money on the line for the state meet.
Correct.
So you saw the spreadsheet that I had with everybody's Roby points and like what total they needed to hit and like what total I needed to hit to win. So I had the guy that actually won. I knew exactly what
Did Kenny win?
No, it was Matt McCullough.
Oh.
He's also a 67, strong kid, super strong. I think he was hitting like similar numbers to me, but I knew if I was gonna win, I needed to have like the very best day.
Yeah.
Because he's like top 3 in his weight class, like in the nation.
Country.
Yeah. So that did happen, but he just outright beat me.
Yeah.
So
and
he didn't even have like his greatest day. I think he missed like maybe two lifts.
That's sort of the best way to lose.
I wasn't mad about it. I was like, he beat me fair and square. Like I did the absolute best that I could, like literally, and I just got beat.
Yeah, I won last year, best female.
Yeah.
And I bombed out this year. Had I hit my openers, I would have won. I was again,
right.
Win or learn, right?
Yep.
But fuck. So competition mindset. I feel like you're super competitive.
I've been realizing that more and more. Like during this whole Corona thing, I'm not like super motivated. Like weightlifting's cool and all, but just to do it for itself, like in and of itself, is not motivating for me. Like I like to compete, and the reason I like weightlifting is because I'm good at it and I can compete at it. Yeah. So like even when I'm playing like Call of Duty or like during this whole Corona thing, haven't been able to weightlift too much or not willing to, honestly. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, and I'm like super competitive about it. I'm like putting in hours for no reason. Like I'm not going to be a pro Call of Duty player or anything, but I just like need something
goal.
Yeah, like to beat people or just to whatever it is. So like it was CrossFit and then it was weightlifting. I think I'm going to dabble in the like MMA and Jiu-Jitsu world. See,
I dig that.
Yeah.
I also don't participate in things unless there's a competition in mind.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you earlier, before CrossFit, I was super out of shape and sort of so I had a really unhealthy lifestyle before. I just was into all kinds of bad stuff and have just used sports as an adult to just really stay focused. And it's actually kind of crazy because my life in general was so derailed. Like I just got into so much trouble. And then when I got really focused on CrossFit and got like sort of learned how to set goals, it changed my entire life in every way. Like I was able to get better jobs, and I was able to, we bought a house and like have a much healthier life because I'm like, okay, here's how to set goals in general.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to buy a house. Okay, well, let's work towards that goal. My goal is to make more money at my job. Okay, well, let's work towards that goal. And just learning goal setting in general has just been huge. But in terms of sports and stuff, I absolutely do not participate unless I intend to compete.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm going to get hurt and I won't be able to weightlift anymore. And I accept that day is going to come. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to just weightlift to weightlift. Like, if I'm injured and I can't weightlift, I'll probably get into, I really want to get into more bikes, like bicycles,
Mm-hmm.
like mountain biking or road biking.
Yeah.
I love
I feel
riding
like
bikes.
it's a good transition.
I love riding bikes.
Yeah.
I like being outside, but like biking, again, it doesn't really hurt.
Yeah, it's pretty low impact.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a good like transition when the time comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like something you can just put a few hours in, you know, sort of mindless,
Yeah.
doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
be outside.
Have you like fantasized about like how you're gonna do it all? Like if you were to change your schedule and everything?
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
like go through that. I'm like I'll play spike ball and I'm like okay at it. I'm like start fantasizing like put in 2 hours like serving against the wall or some shit.
yeah. Well, Vic's training for a triathlon right now. And I'm like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. You need to, and she's like, I don't really care that much. Yeah, but I, you know, because people tell me all the time to quit CrossFit. They're like, Megan, you're not very good.
You generally like it though.
I like the variance.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so intense in general, just a very intense person,
Mm-hmm.
that only weightlifting, it just really beats me up mentally.
Yeah.
In CrossFit, you just kind of do the workout, you kind of move through it. Maybe you have a time goal, even if it hurts. I would rather physically hurt than mentally struggle.
Yeah.
And only doing weightlifting just, it's just emotionally exhausting for me.
How do you feel about the idea that like some people are like more mentally adept at like not hurting themselves, but like there's like a mental edge in CrossFit. I'll give you my point of view.
Yeah.
I don't find there's probably a little bit to that, but I feel like the people that claim they have a mental edge really just have a cardiovascular edge. Like they're just more in shape, or you know, however we want to put it. And you know, like they're working at the same amount of effort, which is like better than you, but like they're not like they don't have a mental edge on you. They have a physical.
Athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think both, right? There's two different things. One is if we're both going the same, if we ran a mile,
Mm-hmm.
like my 90% would be your 60 to 70%. Like
Mm-hmm.
like to get the same result, one person has to put in more effort than the other. And I think, you know, at some level that's 100% true. But I also think that athletic mindset is something you have to train.
Yeah.
Like I train here in my garage in the heat in Texas alone every day. And actually we had this conversation last night because it was Saturday. Saturday we do cardio intervals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Vicky has nothing to train for. She doesn't really care at all. So the moment it starts to really hurt, she eases up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am on the bike and just talking to myself, right? And all I'm saying over and over and over is, I'm like, you're okay. Like, you're okay. You're okay. Just trying to keep that heart rate down and trying to just stay at that level, right? Because I'm supposed to bike at 70 RPMs for a minute 20, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like you have to train yourself to
Gotta push a little
go.
bit. Yeah.
You have like I think like I always have had this huge belief system that like CrossFitters love to clean up their nutrition and they love to get a coach and do the cryo and do the ice bath. But I'm like, you never really hear people practicing mindset training.
Yeah.
Because the body wants to stop. It does hurt. It sucks.
Yeah.
And as soon as it hurts really, really bad, your body's like, stop. And you think biologically, I can't go harder. I need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But like, at what point can you train yourself, or
Just like go a little bit.
to be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, let me just keep going. Like, will I die? Probably not.
No.
I'm not gonna die.
Yeah.
I might puke.
Yeah. No, I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, and I
Like,
think
if you don't do that, you'd have to be really physically capable to be competitive.
right.
Like, yeah.
And I'm like, Vicky is lighter than I am, longer than I am. In theory, on a rower, she could beat me,
Mm-hmm.
but she never will
Mm-hmm.
because when it hurts, she has nothing to push for.
Yeah.
And I am doing nothing but coaching myself. You're okay. You're okay. Like a crazy person.
How do you like mindset rowing? I count strokes per 10 meters, I think, or 100 meters.
Oh, I just count to 10. Annie Stories already said that one time.
Yeah.
It really works for me. Just count to 10 or just obsessively watch the
I always had little tricks for myself.
clock.
Like
Or you have to
fives, like say it's like a 55
Mhm.
wall ball. I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, and I know I got to do like 10
Yeah.
or 11, whatever.
Oh, counting reps. It's miserable.
Yeah.
But it's always like really easy to sort of chip away at smaller goals. Be like, okay, well, I can get to 1 minute. Okay, well, I
Mhm.
did 1 minute. I can get
Mhm.
to 2 minutes. Like just
Yeah,
setting like
yeah.
tiny benchmarks.
Yeah.
And the same with counting, right? You're like, okay, let me get to 10. Okay, I'm at 10. Let me get to 20. Okay, I got to 20. Let me try to get to 30.
Yeah. I feel like it's not that hard to do. Like more people should have little strategies in CrossFit like that.
Yeah. Or in life.
Yeah.
I think we're so averse to like suffering,
Yeah.
struggling.
Well, it sucks.
I'll say struggling. Yeah, but I think people are so infinitely powerful, more powerful than they know, and they don't want to struggle to get there.
Yeah. I know a couple people and I'm like, I just really want you to succeed, but you're not doing anything for yourself.
No. Then they also want quick gratification, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like willing to play that long game.
Yeah.
We have this garage gym, right? And people are like, "Oh, I wish I had that garage gym." And I'm like, "You could. If you
Save a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, if you spend this amount of money per month on this thing over this amount of time, I'm laying it out for you. It's what you need to do." I'm like, well, and I'm like, yeah, because you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't care. That's totally fine. You don't have to, right?
Yeah.
But you could.
Yeah.
It's something you can do.
It's possible.
Right.
For sure.
Versus like I could never join the NBA.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
But there are few things in life that physically are not possible for people. Most things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be willing to do what it's going to take.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah, I'm not gifted. I just am driven.
Yeah.
And I am curious about whether or not it'll eventually pay off because athletically I'm not super talented, but I'm just very intense and very driven, and I'm always very curious about like whether or not I can prove that is more important.
Is that like your whole goal?
Yeah. In life.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good story to tell.
I have no idea, but I'm destined. I'm trying to find out. I want to know if you really can outwork bullshit, age, money, time, sponsors,
Yeah.
athleticism. It's my goal. We'll see.
I believe in you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm huge about like I want to like try to get other people to do the same thing.
Inspire others.
Yeah, I hope.
I think that was like part of my motivation early on in CrossFit because I was always like the young skinny guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can do this, y'all definitely can do this.
What weight class are you?
What 81. It's like 178, 176.
Is it hard for you to gain weight?
Not lately, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just did you just track nutrition or just eat whatever you wanted?
I always eat whatever I want.
Yeah, because you're thin.
It's kind of funny because Liz is studying to be a dietitian.
So she said.
Yeah. That's one thing I could definitely be better about.
Nutrition?
Nutrition, absolutely.
But I think like to a certain extent, this is a cop out and half of an excuse. But like I just feel like I care so much about everything that I just can't care about everything. Like I care so much about my sleep. I care so much about my hydration. I care so much about my recovery and my PT and my programming and my coaching and sometimes I'm just like, I really just don't care
Yeah.
about that.
It's exhausting. It's
It's
a lot of things to juggle.
I'm like, I have a nutritionist that I work with, and I follow my macros
Generally.
loosely, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. I mean, obviously my weight's manageable, but I'm just like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
A lot of girls do. I just
Some people, it's like their shtick. Like
don't.
they're good at nutrition. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a friend. I was in Canada visiting my coach, and the girls were like all gathering, eating their chicken and rice, and I was like, I think I had
They
like
microwave it
I had
or
like
cold?
I had like goldfish and I think I had goldfish in my backpack that I like brought out, and they're like scorning me, and I was like, y'all just eat that every day, and they're like, yeah, and I was like, when was the last time you had like ice cream? And they're like, what? I'm like, I don't know, balance. I'm willing to skip all my niece's birthday parties, but I'm not willing to give up ice cream.
It's funny how things turn out that way.
Yeah, I can't do it. What was the other thing? Oh, you're moving soon, right?
Yeah.
Where are
Yeah.
you moving to?
So Liz is going to start her master's in at Texas State. So
Mhm.
we'll be moving in with her parents in June and be
In
living there
San
for at
Marcos.
least San Marcos, yeah, San Marcos area.
Wait,
And I got a job in Wimberley as a.
I heard that's a cute town.
It was nice. I've passed through there like once or twice. I
Mhm.
really like it. I'm excited.
And but y'all are gonna live in San Marcos. How far is the drive?
It's about 30 minutes.
Not bad.
Yeah, not too dissimilar to what I'm doing right now.
Where do you live now?
We live in Euless, and I work in downtown Fort Worth.
Gotcha. And you're a school counselor,
School psychologist.
school psychologist, elementary school.
So I work for a small district. Excuse me. It's the whole district. I'm the only
Gotcha.
school psychologist. Yeah, so elementary, middle school, and high school, and it's mostly special education. There's some counseling in there, but yeah, getting kids with autism qualified for special education services,
That's awesome.
and kids with what's called an emotional disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an archaic term, but basically it includes kiddos that have like depression, anxiety, and behavioral problems, anger, really. A lot of it's
Yeah.
anger that affect their school performance. So that's the kind of thing about special education. Like, there's definitely kiddos out there with depression and anxiety, but they still perform in school. So those kids I wouldn't see, unfortunately. But that's not the case. That in other states, school psychologist roles kind of change depending on where you're at. Texas, it's mainly sped.
And you like it?
I'm enjoying it. My first year, when I finished my first year last year, I wasn't, too excited about it. And I think it was because I was bad at it. As this year has gone on, I wasn't an intern. I finally got my full license and kind of had more independence and just got a little bit better. And I'm starting to enjoy it more.
That's awesome.
I want to give it a good 5 years, see how I feel. I feel like 5 years by then I'll be, quite competent. See where I want to go. I have ideas about where I want to take the role. Because you could do it independently. But yeah, I'm still figuring it out. Trying to hone my skills.
That's awesome. But specifically, you want to stay with kids? Maybe.
It was never my thing that I wanted to be with kids.
Huh.
I like kids.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of awkward too. So like, I don't know if I would be okay talking to adults.
Touche.
Fair
enough. I don't really have a ton of insight on that.
I like it.
Yeah. My nieces have had a colorful life on their own, and they see psychologists. I mean, there's definitely a lot more leeway when it comes to kids. They tend to be more accepting.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, like, I can give counseling to kiddos.
Yeah.
But the kids that are emotionally disturbed,
Yeah.
like almost 100% don't want it.
I can see
Like
that.
those aren't the kids that want to be reached.
I can see that.
So it's kind of funny how that happens. And then like the school counselors, especially at the high school level, which is where you start seeing like spikes in, depression, suicide,
Yeah.
anxiety. They're doing scheduling
Mm.
almost primarily,
Yeah.
like school scheduling and getting them prepared for college.
Right.
So nobody is
Actually counseling kids.
not at all.
That's a bummer.
And then, it's kind of like a time and money expense to take your kid to counseling. Like
It's expensive, yeah.
and then they're probably not motivated to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
So
And
there's just something wrong with the system.
with the American education system,
Just mental health for kids.
touche.
Yeah.
In general, both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. My nieces are on Medicare,
Mm-hmm.
which is different than Medicaid, and so they get help through that. But the financial burden of mental health treatment is astounding.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited to go to Wimberley because where I work right now is like a lower socioeconomic area.
Mhm.
And Wimberley's more affluent.
Sure.
So I'd like to see how that plays out as far as mental illness. Because a lot of the kids that are like in a behavior class, you're like, damn, man, like you've had a rough life. Like, mom is an alcoholic, doesn't have a job, dad's not there, probably was abusive. You get medication, you get put in an institution for a week, and then you come back and mom sells your medication for money. They've had a rough go,
Mm.
and they're angry.
I'm sure.
Like
Fair.
have you ever seen like an emotionally disturbed kid
Yeah.
cuss you out? It's a sight.
Yeah.
And then there's autistic kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have more of a heart for the emotional kids.
Yeah.
Autism is autism. It's getting a lot of publicity.
Yep.
And I feel like there's people for that, and it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But I do it.
I used to work at a special needs summer camp.
Yeah.
For kids. So there were kids with Downs, kids with autism, kids with.
They're definitely very sweet.
Who?
Like intellectually disabled kiddos can be like the sweetest kids you meet.
It's also because, there's a ton of isolation and they don't necessarily have good friend groups or good social groups. And so if they go to a summer camp for kids like them, it's a huge release and opportunity for them. And a lot of them are assigned versus like a regular summer camp, you have cabins. So like groups of 10 kids or 8 kids assigned to a counselor. But in a special needs camp, it's like one-on-one, right?